Hola, buenos días. Soy Nico. In a bonnet. So, Nico, last week I was not here. I went on a vacation and I just needed a break. I never really take a break from work. I'm always working, even when I'm on vacation, because I can now work from anywhere technically. So, I am always working because that's the kind of person I am. But that's not why you're here. The point is, if you want to find out more about Puerto Vallarta as a destination place and what the fuck happened there, because a lot of things happened while I was there, a lot of dramatic things. But yes, that'll be on Patreon as per usual. Speaking of Patreon, if you like this kind of content, make sure to follow me on patreon.com/Nicosaesthetics for more exclusive lives, weekly videos to be a part of the podcast. Nico, I was out of the country. It did not get posted. Also, as you could tell, I lost my voice because I was screaming at people. But let's get started. So today, as you saw by those opening tweets, we are talking about basically the entire gay, famous, black celebrity stratosphere, be it mainstream media, be it adult cinematography. Nico, what do you mean? So I came across a thread that was going reviral because it was a thread that was being updated yearly, meaning somebody had time today when it came to black celebrities that only date white counterparts. Nico, how is that an issue? Normally is not really an issue for me because I'm not one of those people like I'm anti-swirl. I'm more so if you're dating another race for the sole purpose that you have inner feelings about your own race that are negative, I don't support that. If you so happen to find love in another person of another race, that does not concern me and I'm happy for you. But in this situation, it kind of showed the point that all black gay celebrities are dating white people. Nico, and that's the thing. It reminds me of Eartha Kitt when she opened up about why she didn't have a black husband. She said, I would date black men. I would go after black men. But they would always tell me a black woman would never do anything for me. I need a white woman on my arm as a symbol of status. And I feel like that translates into the queer community. Clearly, some of these people were honestly whacked by accident. Nico, what do you mean? I believe that DeRay guy that was in the first picture, he blatantly said, no, that is just my friend. Please take me out of this equation. And I respect that, so I'm going to specifically exclude him from this scenario because I'm not trying to whack nobody innocently. But it kind of goes to show you that once people get into a certain level of celebrity, they do still view that as a status symbol. Obviously, some people do just find love, and I'm not going to say that's the case for everybody because somebody on Twitter made a very good point where they said, in the case of the feminine black gay men that are on this list who have never said anything negative about, their black community or any other race, we cannot pretend that sometimes it is not our community that excludes them from the dating pool. Nico, what do you mean? I actually did a video on this a good minute ago where basically I had to bring up the point that sometimes in the black gay community you are excluded as a dating option because you are either too feminine, you do not fit the mainstream appeal, or etc., you're not on a certain totem pole, especially when it pertains to being a darker skinned black person, which a lot of these feminine darker skinned people were who had white counterparts. Because like another commenter had said, the white gay community doesn't view masculinity as such a hard necessity as the black gay community. And I want y'all to come up here and argue me till you're blue in the face because I saw it firsthand. Nico, what do you mean? Back when I was an it girl, when I was a fashion girl, Nico used to do the outfits. I would post cute shit on Instagram, oh, I'm a model. I would do photo shoots. I got minimal reception. As soon as I became trade, Nico, I got tatted up, I got sculpted body, I hit the gym for like 6 heckin' years. Suddenly I do viral numbers. I'm not stupid. Social media is my brand and business. I know analytics. Like, we have to be serious with ourselves when we say that sometimes if you do not fit the societal totem pole within the black gay community, you are cast aside. So when it comes to the feminine black gay men on this list that have never said anything negative about the black gay community or about any community in general, I'm excluding them from getting whacked. Nico, I'm excluding them from getting whacked because they are genuinely just trying to find love where they can find love. When it runs back to, let's say, a Steve Lacy who specifically said he would never date a black person because he views them all as his cousins. I believe Todd, the creator, said he wouldn't date a black person. Todrick Hall. That's all I gotta say on that. But then we can move on to the actual like Twitter and OnlyFans girlies. For example, there's a popular Twitter user that's very popular in the white gay stratosphere. I see them make a viral tweet every now and then, who is Nico, why do you say it like that? Because you know how those Twitter circles go, where if you interact with the profile enough, they'll be the ones that pop up in your circle to show that you have a close connection. Every time he posted, it is strictly white men. And then tweets resurface of him basically saying, white men have more ass than black men. Black men, ew. Or what was it? It was like some really stupid stuff. I don't normally date black men, but Apollo is the exception. And a black person commented, what? And they went, wait, what? So, I mean, anti-black statements followed by being surrounded by an other race crowd of friends. I'm not surprised. That's why when this whole rain situation happened, I wasn't necessarily surprised. Nico, I'm going to address it. I understand at this point we run in the same circles, and he has blatantly told me to my face, I don't like you. So I'm just sitting there like, well, no matter what I say, you don't like me, so I'll address it. Nico, what's the issue between you two? I did a video in the past where a white performer came out and said he's a nigga to the bone, you know, and that he could use the N-word because he gave back to his local black community by donating a free meal to a black family at Waffle House. Nico, yes, it is as ridiculous as it sounds. So somebody privately asked Rain, why hasn't he spoken up as somebody who is also in that adult cinematography stratosphere? And he basically said, I'm not going to call him out publicly, even though he made public statements. I'm going to educate him in private. And I said, and I'll reiterate, I'm not a spiritual education Negro. I'm not going to come and teach a Caucasian person in private how to not be racist. It's just something I'm not going to do. So that's where he and I have issues. It is what it is, girl. I still stand to that. I will not do that. If you want to do that, you can do that. That's fine. But other tweets resurfaced where basically he said he prefers white men. He prefers Latinos or light-skinned black men. He made a joke about, oh, I would never date a black boy, even myself. And then he doubled back and went, yeah, I would, LOL. So I'm not going to hold that against him. But it's like his anti-black statements and then his entire media career where he is only partnered with one black person. If I'm being honest, and I think that was Raheem when he topped him. I personally do not ever recall seeing him with another black person. And I actually stopped checking for his films because he only smashes white people. It's not necessarily what I want to see in my adult cinematography. So when it came down to him, and I feel the same way about D'Angelo. Nico, D'Angelo is a fine black man, and he specifically does nothing with black people. But that's where I'm going to end that conversation because I believe he started off in Coco Dorm, and once he hit mainstream, he's strictly white. But yes, well, and Latino, but that's like white adjacent, depending if you're Afro-Latino or actually like indigenous. So am I surprised that these people that have said anti-black comments, these people that have had anti-black sentiments are surrounded by white people, date strictly white people, that a lot of mainstream celebrities date strictly white people? Because when a popular black gay singer, I actually know one of his songs. He did a song with Ari Lennox called Stuck in Love. If I can go find the screenshot, I'll insert it because I actually enjoy his music a lot. That man can sing. Nico, I'm going to start plugging queer artists. That man can sing. Let me say that. Not sing, he can sing. But yes, he made a thread basically going, I'm going to do something positive and I'm going to upload black gay couples to offshoot this nasty commentary going around about black people only date. There was 3 couples. Nico, there was 3 couples in the thread, and the ones that said that all black gay celebrities date strictly white people, it was dozens, and it kept going. Like that thread kept going, and his stopped after 3 couples. And I understood the sentiment of saying we should put positivity to offshoot this, but when the statistics don't lie, the statistics don't lie. Clearly, there are black gay couples, especially in adult cinematography. A lot of them usually form like a little duo to triad situation where they all film together. I enjoy it. Nico, I'd be tuning in. Nico, I'd be checking on black men. That's what I'd be doing. And that's you're going to find out about that in Puerto Vallarta. But yes, point is, Point is, it's okay to address that a lot of people still date solely white partners for the sole fact that they either have self-hate or they view it as a status symbol, while some are actually limited in who they can date because of how they present in the world and their environment. If you are not in a welcoming space, if you are not in a welcoming environment, sometimes you are isolated. Nico, I've been told to my black ass face that I am not what they want because I did not fit the aesthetic until I molded myself to fit the aesthetic. I see it statistics wise. Nico, I've been on like an Instagram model for years. I've been on Twitter for years. I've been on YouTube for years. I know how the internet works. They want you to have a certain image if you are of a certain complexion. And if you do not, it is a lot harder to navigate and try to break into that circle. And I'll be very blunt with you. It's just, I've seen it. Luckily in my career, I've gotten to the point where I could just be who I want to be because luckily people gave me the chance to get to know me for my personality and for my commentary and how I view and think about the things in the world, you know? So I am open to be more expressive with how I present myself. But as someone who grinded that from the bottom to the top, I know that's not the case. And we all know it. So if you're going to come over here and you're going to try to deflect, girl, I already addressed all the talking points. So I definitely want to hear what you want to say on this conversation, especially the whole situation with Rain and the other Twitter boy that basically downed black men and said negative, disparaging things about black men, because Rain actually came back and said, I made this tweet 12 years ago, and I honestly do not know the context. So when things like this happen, I do give some grace for age because we were all young and ignorant at one point. But when you say these things and then you only hang around and date white people and or white adjacent people, that's when I'm like, girl, you've just grown to the point that you know you shouldn't be saying this online. Because I feel like that's a lot of people. You just grow to the point where you're like, girl, I should just keep this to myself. You know what I mean? But yes, definitely drop your opinions down below because it was a shit show. Definitely drop your opinions down below. I'm sorry again for my voice. Boop. And now for a quick yet sincere shout out to this week's Third Eye Tier subscribers, Quentin M and D'Angelo Y. I greatly appreciate all of you once again. And this week's live stream is going to be over the lack of black queer couple representation. If that sounds interesting to you, definitely tune in and I can't wait to see you there.